All right, we're Facebook Live. Joy Rodgers, Joyful Packages. Thank you so much for being with us. Such an intriguing, interesting story. Corey, we're back in the saddle.
We're back. My
Hope you enjoy the show.
I feel so much better.
Hope you enjoy the show. We're going to be on in about a minute or so. Let's see what we got here. So we go here.
Tomorrow, light snow, gusty winds up to 60. Temperature steady near 1. Temperature
all right.
Montreal is 1.
Y'all pumped up? Ready to go?
Yes.
Next update at 4:30. Breaking news as News Talk Radio CJAD.
Trying to manage here with one arm.
With one arm. Here we go.
Stay sick and friend us on
One
Facebook.
quick commercial.
Stories to interact with hosts, to go behind the scenes. Easy to find. Just search for CJAD 800.
Here we go.
Live from rehearsed.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed, a show about the ins and outs of family life. So your life isn't going exactly as planned? Well, you're not alone, and we're here to help out. My name is Matt Delvecchio, specializing in free retirement home search and senior transition support.
And I'm Corey Soretta, clinical social worker and psychotherapist, specializing in grief and loss.
Coming right up on the first half of today's show, she overcame breast cancer and started a company that helps cancer patients in treatment and in recovery. You're not going to want to miss Joy Rodgers' story. Joy is in studio with us to tell us all about it. Now, Corey, I saw a couple things on Facebook, and someone is celebrating a birthday this week, aren't you?
This is true.
And you are doing a really good cause for your birthday. Tell us about it, please.
So many of you know that I am very passionate about my Camp Erin. I call it my Camp Erin camp, which is a bereavement-free bereavement camp for children ages 6 to 17. So I saw this stuff on Facebook where people were doing these things on donate to a certain charity. I said, why not? Why not try it? And I am quite humbled and overwhelmed with the fact that we are really up to, I think the last check was about $2,500 that's going to Camp Erin.
Yeah, good for you. Such a great cause. You made it simple, and it is for a really great cause. We're going to be hearing more about that over the next few months because it's such a wonderful camp.
So thank you for raising that and bringing that up for me. Matt, we missed you last week. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, Matt injured his arm. How's the arm doing, Matt?
Yes, at 52, I think I could still play hockey when my wife would say, don't you think you should be giving up? This case, I ruptured my bicep tendon, Corey, believe it or not. I wish I could say it was, you should have seen the other guy, but it was,
Right.
This is how pathetic it was. It was taking a shot, no one around me, and ruptured the tendon. So all this to say, this required surgery. This has been 2 weeks now, and it's been quite interesting. Stitches come out on Tuesday. I'll find out a little bit of the prognosis for rehab, but it's several months in all, so it's incredible. You come to realize, I'm a righty, and it was my right arm. You come to realize how often you need both arms, just the day-to-day stuff. But I was, my wife was running out. She had an open house today, and it was about an hour before I had to leave. I was like, Stephanie, I need you to tie my boots. So I'm walking around in winter boots, and just the day-to-day stuff from writing. I have to learn how to write. The kindergartens and kids, I'm on a close par with them right now, let me tell you. Cutting food, just all the basics. And, my wife, Stephanie, has been an absolute saint taking care of me. We talked about this.
She has.
But, she's a caregiver. And very often we talk caregivers on our show. And we have just a little snippet of that. I got to tell you, though, one thing I'm probably going to milk even past the injury and rehab is I can't shower. I've got this thing all in my arms, so I'm getting these customized baths, and I have to say, getting the scalp, just washing the hair. So I have my appointment on Tuesday. I'm going to ask my doctor for maybe another 4 or 5 week extension of the.
Matt, TMI. TMI. Not lie.
Yeah, a little too much. He's right. Now, Stephanie, thank you very much. Oh, you a debt of gratitude. The flowers I bought you probably are just certainly not going to be good enough. However, this being said, we are blessed, Corey. We really are. We're fortunate for having this show, Life Unrehearsed, because, I was going through some pretty low times, I have to say, post-op and everything. And what got me through a lot was I thought a lot about our guests, because this is nothing. I'm going to recover from this. And today is just an indication. You heard about Joy, breast cancer survivor coming up. And on the second half, just the unimaginable happened. And we're very fortunate and blessed to have our next guest.
So I'm going to elaborate on that without a doubt. Most of you have probably heard of the name Jesse Galganov by now. He's the young man who disappeared in Peru almost a year and a half ago. Still, there's so many unanswered questions. None of us can imagine the emotional toll this has on his family here in Montreal. Well, today we have Jesse's mom, Elisa Clayman, in studio to provide us with the latest details and to tell us about how she's holding up under such horrific circumstances. That's coming up after the 4:30 news.
Yes, very fortunate to have Elisa here and looking forward to hear Lisa's thoughts. So, let's get started. We have a smiling face there, Corey, right in the other. Joy Rodgers, you've been through so much. You're a mother of 2 young children. You were diagnosed with triple-negative invasive breast cancer shortly after 35th birthday. Yes. So young. And since being diagnosed, Joy has been a big advocate. And I say a big advocate for cancer awareness as a whole. And in 2018, she launched Joyful Packages, which sells cancer care packages for patients in treatment and in recovery, as well as for their caregivers. Joy, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us and telling us your story and what you're doing. So first of all, triple-negative invasive breast cancer. That's a lot. What exactly is that?
So invasive means that it was in tissue other than my milk ducts. So my lump was almost like where the underwire of your bra goes, which is the invasive part. The triple negative part is there are generally 3 gene receptors that a breast cancer will stem from. There is progesterone, there's estrogen, and there's HER2. Mine do not respond to any of those, which means that it is trickier to treat because often you will hear breast cancer patients afterwards being put on hormone therapies. I personally was not responsive to any of those hormones. So it's a little bit trickier to treat. There's a little bit higher of a mortality rate with that. I was very lucky. Mine just responded immediately and we got it under control very quickly.
It's incredible to think about it. Even I can't imagine. So, what helped you or motivated you to get through this?
I think it's got to be my children. My first thought was, am I going to be there to watch my kids grow up? Am I going to be at my daughter's wedding? My kids were 6 and 3 when I was diagnosed, and I just couldn't imagine. I had to put my kids through this, and they were little. I mean, my daughter was in grade 1, and it was a whole new reality for them. And so I needed to fight and be as strong as possible for them and make life as normal as possible for them because they didn't deserve any of it. So I really had to do what I can just to keep going and make things as normal as possible for my kids.
Survival mode and Mama Bear.
Completely.
That's Joy Rodgers talking to us about how she had to deal with her breast cancer. And, from what I understand, you had a double mastectomy. And
I did.
Then you had a hysterectomy after
Absolutely.
that. So, you've learnt a lot, I'm sure, in terms of giving advice to our listeners who may be given at an early stage diagnosis. What could you give for words of advice?
So I had a friend that was diagnosed a little bit before me, and she gave the best advice, and it was just to breathe. And, we are very lucky that breast cancer is very treatable. And even when I spoke to my GP, her answer was, I'd love to think of it as breast disease. And yes, we use this word cancer because it is a cancer, but it is so treatable. And so my friend was like, just breathe, and it's going to be a bad time, but you're going to get through it. And when I met my oncologist the first time, it was the exact same thing. He's like, you're going to have a really crummy few months, and then you're going to move on, and you're going to move on with the rest of your life. So really, just breathe, and you're going to do it.
So simple.
It really is.
So
it
simple.
really is.
So I think that I know that you took your challenge and you created something really incredible. We've mentioned Joyful Packages, but we have to go for a traffic update. But when we come back, we want to hear, it's not just a one-size-fit-all package. There's 4 different packages here. You've got to hear about that. We'll hear about that right after we hear from Carrie Yeager at the traffic center. Yeah.
Snow clearing operations in a number
Excellent.
of areas, so we
Very
definitely
good.
want that. We want those snow
Yeah,
clearing.
I like that. It's like,
How long
flies
was
by.
that?
Oh
my God,
Right
it's
now, if you're
perfect.
at
I'm gonna tell you the same thing, just breathe.
Just
breathe.
Yeah. Get into yoga mode.
So you saw, you obviously knew exactly where I was going with that, Matt.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was very good.
It was great. And just
And with my one arm, I'm dropping papers all over. Facebook Live, you can see all that. I was going through Bureau and Grow with my daughter, and I have my jacket. And I'm walking, and I hear cling, clang, clang. And I'm there, what the hell's going on? Lisa, my daughter, Dad, you just wiped out a whole row of
Oh my
these
God.
water bottles, these steel water bottles. My arm is it's like, oops. Okay, I guess I got to be a little more careful.
So when we come back, I will welcome everybody back, reintroduce you, and we will ask about describing the 4 different packages. And then we have so many questions. So we don't have to get to how did you start the initiative. You can include that in describing the packages.
That actually is a good point. I was thinking that because it's kind of appropriate that you'll probably start with the first package,
Yeah.
and then maybe you segue into why you even started in the first place.
So,
I guess.
and which comes into what goal you hope to achieve, and then we definitely want to ask about the Warrior of the Month because it's a really cool initiative. And if we can get to, we might be able to get to all of them. And how much do the packages cost?
I'll go through them quickly.
And I like, how has cancer changed you, and that's it's personal, and I think everyone has a different reason for it. So, yeah.
But I don't know if we'll get there.
No, if we have time.
Yeah.
So we're going off air at around 4. Our thank you will be at around 4:27.
Okay.
So it gives us a little time, and then we'll do a teaser for the second half of the show. Good. Very good. And I love your kids' answers.
Yeah.
That's your
Excellent.
Brilliant.
survival mode, right?
Yeah.
That's
Survival
what
mode.
I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Often the people that I work with, a lot of clients who have someone in their family that dies will say that having the kids it gives them it just whoever is the survivors. Especially I do work with women who've had perinatal loss, stillbirth, miscarriage, and they will say if they have a subsequent child, that's what helps them get through. Is just they can't be exactly how they sometimes feel they want to be, but it motivates them, and they still have the space and time. But children are a very big motivator.
I picked a Beatles song for us. Something in the air. Something that you care.
Did you see the teaser for yesterday, the movie that's coming out? The guy who, it's from Slumdog Millionaire, and it's like this guy wakes up one morning and the Beatles never existed, but he knows all the songs.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, watch the trailer. Yesterday.
Yes.
And he's on like the Drew Carey show, and the guy says, can you write something? So he wrote, he sang something. It's a great
That's the song.
trailer. It's a great trailer.
Can I do a little up on the second half? That voice in the background, there's Elisa and her friend Patty, who will be on in the second half of the show. Elisa, thank you for being here, and thank you for your movie input as well.
She's not really super recording that.
She forgot.
I did.
So we'll be on at around 4:20ish, although we never really know.
You never really know until it's
Dave
here,
Simon,
you're like, oh.
behind the glass there, our producer, great guy. But that's why we got to keep these in here and listen.
We get so sidetracked. I get sidetracked with the music, and he's looking at me, going, I'm like bopping.
And you saw when that thing goes red, that means our mics are live.
Got it.
Yeah.
Biggest countdowns and the most music.
Who are your biggest consumers?
We got to ask that question louder. That's a very good question. Biggest consumers.
Friends and family members of people going through chemo. That's been the biggest one, and people are buying it before people are starting treatment.
Right.
Oh,
Which is great.
here we go.
Yeah.
Similar
We might
to
get
my
into
book
that.
I wrote. I read that after.
Oh, there's the art.
Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Corey Sirota with my co-host Matt Del Vecchio, and we are talking with Joy Rodgers, who is the creator of cancer care packages for patients in treatment and in recovery, as well as for their caregivers. before traffic, I alluded to the fact that there's not a one-size-fit-all package, that I was intrigued to learn that there's at least 4 different packages. So I'd love for you to share with us what those 4 packages are. What was your incentive to even create this?
So I never actually intended on starting anything. But I found that once you are in recovery, once you're told there's no evidence of disease, you're in remission, I was kind of at a loss of what to do with myself. I'm no longer a patient, but I'm no longer back to being myself. And I didn't know, it was kind of difficult for me to get back to being me. I was a weaker version of me. I was a scarred, emotionally and physically version of myself. And I found it hard to get back to myself. So I was thinking of ways on how to make that easier. While I was in treatment, one of my best friends had sent me a gift. And I had received many, many gifts during treatment, but my best friend had really put together things that I needed, things that would really help me in my treatment. And so I'd actually started with an in-recovery package, which were going to be items to help people that were in the same situation as me. I'm now in recovery, no evidence of disease. How do I help myself? And so, there's a resistance band to help you to kind of start working out again. There's a Lynx powder, and Lynx is kind of fruits and veggies to put in your water bottle just to kind of start that healthy eating again. And it's all items of necessity. And so I started with a recovery package. We have an in-treatment package, which, again, there's a stress ball for neuropathy. There's ginger chews for that metallic taste during chemo. We have a caregiver package because, the caregiver is that unsung hero who is the one driving you to your chemos and taking care of you, changing your bandages. And then the last package, which was, of course, the hardest one to do, is our Young Warrior, which is our kids that are going through treatment. And the kids package does have, a squishy ball for the neuropathy and that kind of stuff, but also has a little more fun toys in it because they are kids and they need to have fun.
That's Joy Rodgers, creator of Joyful Packages, creating cancer care packages. And good on you. Based on your experience, you obviously saw some stuff. As you were mentioning off air, you had a lot of stuff, but there was some stuff that was more relevant than others. And it seemed to be that the simple basics were the things that resonated with you.
Exactly.
And you've created not just one of these packages, but for recovery, treatment, caregivers, and children. You mentioned something, Joy, about warriors. And I think I saw you have something called Warrior of the Month. Is that true? So what is that?
So my packages are for purchase, but I did want to give back at the same time and celebrate different people. And so each month we have a Warrior of the Month, which is someone who we kind of celebrate a little bit on our Facebook, our Instagram, and they answer some questions. We make a blog post about them and a little bit about their experience. And at the same time, every person who has gone through their cancer journey has different organizations that are close to their heart. So a portion of the proceeds will be donated in that month to the charity of their choice. So we've given to High Lifeline. We've given to Siegel Center at the Jewish General Hospital. This month, our warrior she's actually very involved in fundraising for a hospital in Ottawa and a clinical trial. So this month, the funds are going to her charity in Ottawa. And so this way, there is that donation aspect, that charity aspect of it as well.
Such a lovely sentiment. So how would someone, if they wanted to be considered for Warrior, does someone nominate someone or does someone...
So you could nominate someone. You could definitely nominate yourself. Either send an email to info@joyfulpackages.ca or contact me on Facebook or Instagram. Both are at Joyful Packages. And either say, I have someone who would be great for this, or I think I would love to do this.
Right.
And I would love, add their name to the list and just keep going each month a different person.
It's Joy Rodgers, creator of Joyful Packages, wonderful cancer care packages, and sharing your story. Very inspiring, Joy, I have to say. And obviously, who would have thought? This happened at 35?
Right, literally right after my 35th birthday.
So you are how old now? This has been going on for how long?
I'm just about to turn 38.
Wow, gone through all that. So is it fair to say, to ask you, you've turned something obviously negative, traumatic. How has it changed you personally?
I think that I have, you know, as moms, and I'm a first aid coordinator at a school, I'm a volunteer paramedic, I'm a very giving person, but I think since this, I'm doing a little bit for myself too. And, you know, if there's that pair of shoes that I really want to buy, I'm going to go and buy it. And 2 weeks ago, I was really, really tired, and I picked up my daughter, and we flew to Florida for the week, which is not something that I would generally do. I'm not going to spend the money, or I'm not going to do this. And now I'm just kind of under the thought that life's too short, and you've really got to enjoy it. And if, you know, as long as my loved ones are taken care of, I'm going to do those things to make me happy, to make my family happy.
It's an unbelievable, beautiful attitude, and a great gift you're giving yourself, and a gift that you're creating for other people to give. And I think people like to have this as something that they can do because they may feel very helpless. So you're giving them that segue to be able to do it. So I just want to say thank you for really creating this initiative, and I'm sure that there are people that will be very interested in accessing these packages. So how, again, I know you mentioned already, how again can people get a hold of
So you could go on the website, which is joyfulpackages.ca. I have a Facebook and an Instagram page. Both are at Joyful Packages, and you could just order directly from there. You choose your box and order them that way.
It could all be done online.
Absolutely. We ship everywhere, all around the world. I was very excited. I shipped my first package to Israel.
Wow, very good. So international and not just local. And
absolutely.
Well, congratulations, and such a wonderful thing you're doing. And
Thank you.
Wish you the best of success and continued success, both in health and happiness. And you have 2 kids that should be very, very proud of you.
Thank you
so
very
Joy, thank you
much.
for coming on a snowy Sunday and for being with us. All right, now coming up after the news, her son Jesse Galganov traveled to Peru almost a year and a half ago. Elisa Clayman still has not heard from him, but she's not giving up. We'll hear from Elisa after the 4:30 news.
That was a good.
Yeah, we just switched. We did
behind
a.
the scenes is that we. Anyways,
You did a
We
great
both
job.
reversed.
Yeah, you were
Joy,
fantastic.
Thank
amazing,
you.
very good,
Amazing.
very
Thank you.
inspiring.
We want to send the package.
Well,
to
You're on until what time? Until 5?
5.
Okay, so I'm going to say.
We want to send the package to someone.
I think you're.
And I'll just say a little
Oh,
goodbye.
What just happened?
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. And Elisa is next.
Yeah, we're gonna put her in the hot seat.